Well, welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with another video. This time I want to talk to you about the Jiangxing Winged Dragon Metal Beast 01, which is their take on the Beast Wars Red Dragon, their Megatron. And I have to say, it's a very nice looking figure. It feels pretty solid. I think it's pretty good. I like it. But of course, this is my favorite of the Beast Wars characters. And I got this at ShowZ. You can get yours too, and ShowZ's got a sale coming up on the middle of the 10th all the way through the 11th, and this is an ideal figure to get then. Start out by taking a look at this mode, this Beast Tank mode or whatever you call this thing, and I don't know, it's kind of a fan mode. I always thought it was like a fan mode, but I guess it's sort of an official thing. Beautiful. It is beautiful, but this, of course, this mode is not really something I would display it in. There's a hot rod next to it, the Takara hot rod, so you can see just how long this thing is. But the one thing about this mode, it just goes, you know, really, really long. It shows how long this thing can be. It's almost fully stretched out. So let's go ahead and get it into his dragon mode. And really, you're just having to work all the parts and pieces back out like that, like so. Use all those, seems like double jointed knees and everything. Close up on both sides, the thrusters, and then bring down the arms into regular dragon position, and you have yourself the dragon. All right, let's have a look at this guy here. Let's get his wings just right, and you got some articulation on this piece here on both sides. The wings are interesting because you can spread them out and make them quite spread out, and they're each individually articulated, so you can get it kind of crazy, like however crazy you want it to look. I sort of like the wings to look like that though, so that's kind of my preferences. I have it look like that. All right, so let's have a good look at this guy. Look at him all the way around, and he's huge. And he looks good. Paint, like I'm going to say later, I didn't find any paint shipping because I filmed this in different crazy ways. But I did have one spot for paint shipping, and it was the way I put this in here. You just need to close one of these to get it pegged in, then put the head down, and then close the other one around it is the best way to not chip the helmet. I've got like one little chip in the helmet. It's not a huge deal, but now you know. So yeah, this thing looks beautiful. The paint on the face, so we have this, I don't know, you call it magenta, and then we have like a real deep burgundy. It just looks beautiful. And it's the same color paint all the way around for this gold. Inside the mouth, the teeth. Let's get it closer. Down here on the neck. But the wings are a slightly different color of gold. Like I would think they would be the same. They're a little bit different. And I'm starting to wonder with the wings, because I don't see any chipping on the wings, whatever. So I don't know if there's a little scuffing, but I don't know if this painted all the way, or if it's just got like a clear coat on it. So there's a little bit of red accents in the tips of the wings. So I know that's paint. Anyway, going down, I mean, this thing's 99% painted head to toe, and a lot of it's high gloss paint too. And his claws, which really weren't visible in robot mode so much, but his claws look beautiful, and die cast. This feels like die cast right here. The cold touch method at work, and shine really well. These little claws shine very well. This guy is so big, it's hard to show all these little things here. Yeah, it looks great. And then, of course, down to down to the lower legs. It's the same, pretty much the same legs in bot mode. But still looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let's go ahead and get in a couple of size comparisons real quick. Here he is next to a G1, or the first release of the Dragon, so absolutely towers over him. And you know, I thought that there's a couple little shiny paint schemes were great on this first one, but this one blows it out of the water with the paint scheme. And here he is next to Dinobot and Megatron, and that's how much bigger he is than them. Let's go ahead and look at his flame effects real quick in Dragon mode. We're gonna look at them in both modes actually, but put that flame effect in, flip that switch on, that's red. And in the blue, I think actually we all want the flame, the red flame, but the blue ice looks so much better. That blue captures the light so much better. Red. Let's get the red in there. And the red still looks good. Just doesn't capture it as well. Doesn't look as bright. Into the Dragon. Ha ha ha. Cut, 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 cut. Wider wings. Wider wings. Come on. Into the Dragon. Ha ha ha. Cut, cut, cut. No. That's still not gonna work. That's not gonna work. You don't sound enough like Megatron. You just don't sound enough like Megatron. What are you talking about? That performance was perfect. I should know because I gave it. I am growing tired of this Beast Wars. I want to go on a real show. Not a show that wants to be Transformers, but it's not. I'm going on a show that's gonna make me royalties forever in syndication. Ah yes, Vortec. That is guaranteed to be a hit tracks. I'm out of here. But isn't Vortec just Mask? That's not really Mask, it's just trying to be Mask. Let's go ahead and get this beast transformed up. So first we want to get these wings collapsed, mostly just to get them out of the way. And then we're going to want to come back here and untab these pieces right here, which they do a little bit of help. Then we're going to untab these hip skirts here, unclip this big piece right there, untab these hip skirts right there. That second one's tabbed in real good. All right, so from here, we're gonna want to kind of get that out of the way. Let's go ahead and move these legs sort of out of the way. And we're going to flip them over on this side, unhook all this mechanism right there. And then over here, we want to kind of flip all of this mess around. Remember, you don't want to chip any paint. So what's going to help is sliding this. It's on a slider. So can we see that? It's on a slider right there. Let's go ahead and unhook it right here, the main body. And when you look at it, you can see the slider right there. So it might be easier to maneuver. Give that a little help. Why is it? There it goes. So I maneuvered it with my finger, the sliding joint. That made it a little easier. While you're in here and it's opened up, we can go ahead and close these pieces down, get them out of the way. We're still in the process of swinging all this business around. And there, it's swung around. And what I kind of don't like is getting these mandible pieces around it, but we'll worry about that here in just a second. So now that all this is open, fold this out of the way. Now, I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this head off right now. Get it out of the way. Parts forming, I just don't care. I want it as easy as possible and with as little paint chipping as possible. So, and we're gonna maneuver this arm out gently. And then we're going to start working with putting this arm back in. Okay, so we're going to put this piece here back inside, put this arm back in here. Make sure all that fits. This piece needs to be in that position, kind of angled down. And then it will tab together like that. We need to bring this, we need to pass the headpiece and stuff through. Rotate and pass it past those mandibles. There he is. Look at all that craziness. Rotate these around. That down. Lower his legs so that we can have him standing and we can work with him more now that he's standing. It's going to be easier to work with this guy. All right, so let's go ahead and get that clipped in place. Let's come back here. We have this other arm that's on a ball joint. Okay, we're gonna move this ball joint back. This is all up. Pop this guy back on his ball joint. We're gonna get it in place. And we close this over that arm, and we have the head right there. Flip it back around. Close this on his head. Oh yes. Now let's get these arms situated. Open this. Pull his hand out. And then, yes, I cheated. Do I look like I'm concerned that I cheated? No, I'm not concerned at all. Let's slide this back on. Right here, which is just part of the initial setup anyway. Got to work this shoulder joint back into place. And then we need to untab this piece here to release the shoulder articulation. Flip that around. And we got him in his panel inside of his chest. So we're just gonna have to open him up again and just slide that panel inside the chest. I find that to be the easiest way, finishing that off, giving you that great look. All right, so let's go ahead and have a look at this guy in all of his greatness. And I have to admit, this figure looks outstanding. Let's get a close-up look at that face, that head sculpt. It looks just like he walked out of the TV show. I mean, I could picture David Kaye. Oh, yes. But this whole figure does have that whole look to it. He has beautiful shiny paint all over, everywhere. I haven't found a blemish yet. After transforming him a few times, I'll find some blemishes, I'm sure. Just, he looks good. There's some different color paint here. I really think it's painted head to toe. It's painted head to toe. All the way down. The beautiful colors. I mean, there's this purple that's a little different. Then there's this gunmetal gray look to the kneecap. Just really looks good all over. Down to the wings. Now the wings, I don't know if they are painted. It just feels like they don't chip. They're not going to chip like this kind of paint would. So the wings and everything in it was packed very well. I should have shown it, but every single section of the wing and just all over, just packed with plastic so it doesn't get chipped. So anyway, he is painted head to toe. He looks good. I mean, we kind of assumed that would be like that. Let's have a look at some of the articulation with this guy. The head is just a little bit side to side and down, and then maybe up. Now, I want to say that the tail is actually really, really lightweight compared to the rest of the body. which it needs to be because he is kind of stuck to the head. Shoulder, you go all the way out and then forward, pretty much all the way around until you get to the tail, or the wing would stop that. And then we do have another hand. We're going to get into that second hand gimmick. You do have the waist swivel, and you have a serious ab crunch right there. And then getting into the double jointed hips. He has double jointed hips for different poses, and actually this side's not double joining out like this side does. I'm not sure. I don't want to break it, so I'm gonna mess with that one. There it goes. It finally went. And then legs can go out to a 90. If you pull these up, you can get a little past 90. And then on the back, the wings are going to be in the way, but I mean, if you move the wings out of the way, you got a almost full 90. And then you have thigh swivel. And then I can feel a lot of die cast in the lower legs, which is smart. Knees past 90, you got almost, yeah, look at that. Wow, you got that nice ankle rocker. And it tilts all over. It's quite a mechanism, and it feels very, very hefty. This thing feels quality. I have to admit, overall feels lighter weight than I thought it would, but it's like the upper body is lighter and the lower body is heavier, and guess what? That's where it needs to be. That makes a lot of sense. So let's go ahead and show the regular hand. This actually comes detached from the box. You have to slide it into this port. And so anyway, we're gonna take that off. I'm gonna flip this around, flip this up. And everything on mine is very, very tight, which to me is a good thing. All right, let's go ahead and get this hand out of here. So you can just, if you wanna just use two hands, it's an option that you can do. Let's clear all that. Lift this hand here up. There's his hand. Close that back up, and we have his hand, which feels kind of short. Feels like a short arm. And you have just a little bit of elbow articulation there. And now with this hand, well, both hands, you have, it's all pinned. Let's get a better angle on that. You have every single joint, and it's very tight. This is not some KFC hands. You can move it's fully articulated in the hand. And these are really, really tight. It's hard to move them. I'm scared to break them because, they're so hard to move, but it's just because it's new and it's tight, and they don't splay, but you can get some interesting different little hand movements and gestures and stuff with that. Now let's go ahead and put this, use it as an arm cannon, put it on. We'll slide it into here. And this is kind of, there it goes. It's kind of hard to get on the first time. As you do it a couple times, it gets a little bit easier and loosens up to the tolerance. Let's also look at this head here. It just looks beautiful. Looks beautiful. You have these teeth are painted. They're not sharp either. But if you have some A10 batteries, which I do because I think that's what I use in my Superion, I put 4 in there instead of the 3 that you're supposed to. It gives you a little bit brighter light, and it probably won't burn out as fast. So, but mine was a little wibbly wobbly, like the light was sort of come on. And sometimes with these kind of things, you need to like stretch the little spring out to get a better connection. But anyway, when you turn that switch on in the back, there's a switch in the back right here. When you turn that on, you get this. And it's actually kind of hard to see, so I was thinking I was gonna get it in a position here, and we were going to have a look at it in the dark. Dark-ish. So there it is, lights up. Now you've got the fire breathing, and then you flip the switch to the other end, and you get your breathing ice, and kind of like, what's his name? Like everyone's favorite action hero, Arnold. Everybody freeze. Almost looks like a Mr. Freeze costume in a way, doesn't it? Now he does have several different faces, and it actually comes in a nice little holder for his faces, so you can just swap those out. And I just like the one that's on him. It's fine. I do like that you get different ones of these so that you can, I don't know, change his mood. Let's go ahead and get a few comparisons with this guy. So compared to the original G1, and like I always say, whatever you call it, the original Beast Wars Megatron, this is actually my favorite Beast Wars figure character that they had. You know, as you watch my channel, you know I'm not so into the Beast Wars so much, but I do like this. And a big part of this is the fact that this guy it's just amazing. It's a gigantic, huge dragon, and this brings it to life. And look at the difference. Now of course, you're looking at a 90s toy versus a modern collectible, and looking like it walked off or out of the show. Let's go ahead and show him next to Megatron and Prime, the MP versions, the MP44 and the 36. And as you can see, he towers over them, which technically isn't to scale. If you want to go into the whole scale thing with the Autobots are technically like way bigger. But anyway, it looks beautiful. Here he is next to Dinobots, so you can kind of see, but at the point that we got this guy to looking like this, Dinobot no longer looked like that. I mean, we all kind of know that, but it's still kind of fun to see. Now, as big as this figure is, I do want to show him next to Fans Toys Phoenix, so you can get that scale. He's not as big as Fans Toys Phoenix. As big as he is, if he was as big as Fans Toys Phoenix, I would think it would be way too big. Then again, I might be wrong. And here he is next to the Perfect Effects. Now, I want to point out that Perfect Effects was the first one to make it. Perfect Effects is about 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches shorter, and Perfect Effects is more stylized. But Perfect Effects did a great job, and I think they're going to be making more along the lines of these Beast Wars figures. And I just waited for this guy because this guy looked more screen accurate. And by the time I decided I might get one of these, Perfect Effects was sold out. So it worked out great for me. And this, in my opinion, is a more screen accurate option. Now, I've never handled the Perfect Effects, so I can't speak to that at all. And I'm going to toss in a quick little glimpse of the future. This is the New Age EX version of a very shiny Megatron. The shiny Megatron. People try to say it's a toy because it has that hairy chest to it, but I'm going to be looking at this guy sooner or later. But yeah, there he is compared to Winged Dragon. And I had at least one request for this, but what's he look like next to Fans Toys FT40? Yes, it's a bit ridiculous. It's crazy. I really hope the paint on FT40 is half as good as the paint on this guy. So this was a Jiangxing Metal Beast 01 Winged Dragon Metal Beast, and it is a very nice, very beautiful version of the Beast Wars 2 Megatron, or the Beast Wars Transmetal 2. And hey, if you're in on Beast Wars, I would get this guy. I think he is outstanding. He's amazing. He's a bit on the pricey side. He's a bit on the large side. He has quite a few different little features, but I am very impressed. It's every bit as good as I thought it would be, and I knew what I was getting into when I bought it, and I'm very happy with this guy. You can get yours at Show Z. Like, subscribe. But Deer Hanger out.